Part 37. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 361. Except for Mordekaiser and Abiao, who were closer to Suran, they could clearly see that Suran had done it. Across such a heavy snowstorm, others had no idea what was happening. Looking at the insects all over the ground, everyone picked them with weapons and found that they were indeed dead. Then they safely picked up a few insect corpses and observed them. This thing is very fragile, but any object it touches will be frozen into ice. After a while, dozens of ice sculptures appeared on the ice. These are all the people who went into the snowfield with them. The wind and snow slowly stopped at this time. Abiao counted the number of people again and returned to Mordekaiser. Boss, more than 20 people have died, and more than 40 people have died today. There were only more than 200 people in the logistics team, and 1/5 of them died at once. Now people are panicking. But they entered the snowfield voluntarily and knew the dangers of the snowfield. So even if so many people died, they had to continue on their way. As long as Mordekaiser doesn't reach their destination, they can't leave. After so many people died, Mordekaiser's face did not waver at all, and he just said something calmly. Keep on going and let them be on guard. The large army continued to advance, leaving only dozens of ice sculptures in place. Half an hour later, the wind and snow stopped, and everyone finally saw the lake shore. Hurry up and hurry up! Abiao roared, urging everyone to speed up their pace. However, changes occurred again at this time. The originally flat ice surface suddenly arched into a huge oval. The team was directly divided into two parts by this oval. With the lessons learned from the previous two times, everyone knew that this must be another monster. Boom! There was a loud noise, and the arched ice suddenly exploded, and then a black dragon broke through the ice. Roar! Xiaolong roared angrily, and the moment he came out, he set his sights on the third of the four brothers. Is this a dragon? Everyone looked at the dragon in mid-air in shock. It doesn't have horns, so it's not a dragon, but it looks like it's about to turn into a dragon. Everyone discovered that two small pink horns had sprouted from its head. The dragon did not attack everyone immediately after it came out, and no one dared to attack it. The two sides just looked at each other. Then I saw the dragon spit out human words. Human, was it you who poisoned me? As soon as he said this, everyone looked at the third of the four brothers. Not long ago, he was the one who poisoned a strange fish and threw it into the lake. This dragon seems to be here to seek revenge? Could it have eaten a poisonous strange fish? Everyone secretly guessed. The holy dragon is born, and all of you will be punished by the holy dragon. In the logistics team, one person looked at Xiaolong with excitement in his eyes. The third child looked nervously at the dragon in the sky. He didn't expect that he could provoke such a being by just poisoning him. Judging from the momentum of this dragon, I am afraid it is at least close to the peak of human level 8. The four brothers combined may not be its opponent. You must admit your mistake. I have never poisoned you. The third child refused to admit that there were so many people here. Why did the other party think that he was the one responsible? You still dare to quibble? Do you think I am stupid? I can smell the poisonous gas on your body as soon as I come out. It seems you are not lying. After Xiaolong finished speaking, without waiting for the third child to speak, a divine dragon swept down with its tail. The huge strong wind made everyone's cheeks hurt. Faced with this blow, Lao San naturally did not dare to take it hard and jumped to avoid it. Fuck, you stinky loach, do you really think I'm afraid of you? Brothers, let's kill it together and eat dragon meat tonight. The four brothers have always advanced and retreated together. After feeling that the dragon had not reached level 900, they all started fighting with it. Others were afraid of being affected by the aftermath, so they all hid far away. In the center of the battlefield, 4 people were fighting neck to neck. The originally flat ice surface was now shattered, revealing the unfrozen lake water below. However, as time went by, the 4 of them were obviously unable to do what they wanted. "Boss Caesar, tell them to come over and help quickly. Our brothers can't leave, and you don't want to feel better either. Besides, my third brother poisoned this dragon just to save them." The eldest of the 4 shouted to Mordekaiser, and then was whipped away by a tail. Mordekaiser looked at the people around him. The boy with the crew cut was looking up at the sky with his arms folded, obviously not ready to help. Higanka admired her newly painted nails and pretended not to see anything. As for Abayao, he only listens to Mordekaiser's words, and he will not listen to others. "Abayao, if you go up to help, can the 5 of you defeat that dragon?" Abayao shook his head when he heard this. "Boss, this dragon requires at least a peak level 8 professional to deal with it. There's still a chance for the 7 of us to go together, but there's definitely not a chance for 5 of us." Bleeding wounds also began to appear on his body. But when he thought that his descendants were about to be poisoned to death, Xiaolong felt extremely unwilling. Suren could always stay by his side to protect him because of the ice crystal pendant. When she heard that the price could be increased, Bianhua's eyes lit up and she asked, "There is a lot of money to be made in this matter, and it is exactly what Mordekaiser said." Now, Xiaolong, who originally had the upper hand, was unable to move away when faced with the siege of 6 8th level professionals and numerous 5th level professionals. The siege between these 6 people and more than 100 people was already comparable to that of it. There was a level 8 human in the distance who had not taken action. Faced with this condition, Zhou Zhang still shook his head. Xiaolong broke through the formation of several people and killed Lao San. This made Xiaolong feel bad. With so many masters around him, Mordekaiser found that no one could use him now. "It won't do you any good if they die." Mordekaiser looked at Zhou Zhang and Bianhua. At the same time, people from other logistics teams were also asked to provide some fire support from a distance. If the 4 brothers died, he would not worry about having no one to help withstand these dangers. It was impossible for him to help those 4 brothers. He wished that they would die soon. Make a deal. Or maybe Senior So can kill it alone. The death of the 4 brothers actually did no good to them. It was a bit careless to act rashly like this. "Ho, damn humans, die to me." He had no leverage at all to ask Suren to take action. There may be many dangers on this journey. Without strength, relying only on money is indeed unreliable. As for Suren, that's even more impossible. Add 20% to the original price. I wonder how much Boss Caesar can add. Mordekaiser had to look at Zhou Zhang and Bianhua to discuss. Seeing this, Mordekaiser had no choice but to tell Abayao and Bianhua to hurry over and provide support. As soon as Mordekaiser finished speaking, Hibiscus agreed. Suren basically didn't take any action. When faced with danger, it was up to them to take action. He couldn't order these 2 people, he could only beg them to take action. Without the 4 brothers, it would be up to them to resist the danger in the future. It will not stop until the poisoned human is killed. You too, I will increase the price for you, and please join them in dealing with the dragon. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 362. The dragon ignored other people's attacks on him and opened his bloody mouth to bite the 3rd child in one bite. The 3rd child couldn't avoid it and was bitten by it. "Brother, save me." The 3rd child wanted to break free, but Xiaolong was determined to kill him and would not let go. Others frantically threw their skills at the dragon to no avail. Boom! The dragon broke through the ice and plunged into the lake. The 3rd child was also bitten by it and got into the lake. This scene happened so fast, no one expected that the dragon would use such a fearless fighting method at the last moment. Third brother. Third brother. The other brothers lay down in the hole in the ice and looked into the lake. Apart from a pool of dragon's blood floating on the lake, there was no trace of the dragon anywhere. Everyone knew that the third child was dead. Abiao walked to the ice cave and took a look, then quickly returned to Mordekaiser. "Boss, the third child probably won't survive." "Where's the dragon?" Mordekaiser asked. Even though so many people didn't take it down, it even bit one person away. If the dragon hadn't received timely treatment, he probably wouldn't have survived. At the last moment, it was heading for the third child. It was completely undefended against us, so it must have been extremely seriously injured. Mordekaiser nodded upon hearing this. "Is it seriously injured?" "That's fine, as long as it doesn't come out to cause trouble during this period." Mordekaiser obviously didn't care about the death of the third child. As long as the dragon doesn't come out to hinder the team's progress, this is a good thing for him. He had no time to waste here. "Bitch, why don't you come here? Why don't you help? You have to come here to help as soon as possible, and my third brother will not die." The three brothers walked straight towards Zhou Zhangzhen with anger in their eyes. As for Suran, they haven't tested Suran's strength yet and don't dare to provoke him yet. Zhou Changzhen laughed when he heard this and said, "What a joke, what does your brother's life and death have to do with me? I'm not employed by you, why should I help you? I'm not clapping my hands, it's already pretty good. What happened last night, he has not forgotten how these people targeted him. What's more, he wished all these brothers would die in this snowy field. I'll kill you." The fourth of the four brothers picked up the weapon in his hand and rushed forward to kill Zhou Changzhen. Abiao frowned and said, "Stop. The boss invited you here not to let you fight among yourself. Don't forget what your mission is. This is a snow field, and anyone can die here. Since you dare to come, you must be prepared to die at any time. If you want to fight, you can do whatever you want when you get out, but, here, you can't." Abiao also means Mordekaiser. "Ha ha ha, okay." The brothers gave Zhou Zhangzhen and Abiao a sinister look. "You can watch our brothers suffer, okay? Just wait for us. Don't let us get the chance." After all, a few people still didn't dare to take action. Bianhua, Zhou Changzhen, and Abiao are definitely one. Plus the logistics team of nearly 200 people. If they really had to fight, they wouldn't have much chance of winning. The most important thing is that there is Suran watching next to him. This person is what they are worried about. They didn't know what conditions Mordekaiser gave to invite Suran. If Mordekaiser asks Suran to take action, maybe Suran would really take action against them. "Ahem, I feel sad about your brother's death, but we can't linger here any longer." Mordekaiser finally spoke at this time. "There is still a mountain to climb ahead. If we continue to waste time here, we will not be able to reach the location of the next temple tonight, and none of us will survive." Snort. The brothers snorted coldly and did not continue talking. The smile on Zhou Zhangzhen's face became even stronger when he saw this. If there weren't so many people watching here, he would have laughed out loud. After this dragon made a fuss, the originally uneven people became even more dispersed. The team was divided into several camps, with 3 brothers in one camp. Higanbana and Perimeter are on their own camp, and will listen to Mordekaiser when necessary. Abiao was sincerely devoted to Mordekaiser and obeyed his words. Suran didn't care about anything, he just needed to ensure that Mordekaiser didn't die. After the team organized themselves, they continued to set off. After another half hour, the time was approaching noon. The team then landed ashore and crossed the Bell Lake. However, the thrills along the way did make everyone aware of the horror of the snow field. Even level 8 professionals who are usually aloof can die here if they are not careful. Not to mention pawns like them. Abiao, you first send people to explore a passable mountain road ahead, and the others will arrange their positions and wait when they reach the foot of the mountain. Mordekaiser poked his head out of the sedan and glanced at the snow-capped mountains in front of him, and then gave instructions to Abayao. "Okay, boss." Abayao took the order and left. After another half hour, the team arrived at the foot of the snow-capped mountains. The mountain is not high, maybe less than 1,000 meters. Now there is no wind or snow blocking the view, and you can even see a few black figures flashing in the sky. These things are extremely fast and can disappear into the sky in the blink of an eye. Ahem, if I could take a flying pet over there, I wouldn't have to suffer these consequences. Mordekaiser looked at the ancient map in his hand. It clearly stated that you should never ride on a flying beast. There is mysterious energy interference in this snowy forbidden area, and the flying pet beasts will rebel against the devourer after being disturbed. Coupled with the blizzard that could appear at any time, Mordekaiser could only choose to walk to his destination. After the team waited at the foot of the mountain for almost an hour, the explorers finally returned. If he doesn't come back, they can't wait any longer. It was only 5 hours before dark. "How about it?" Abayao asked. "Back to my lord, the mountain road ahead has been identified, but it's just a little strange." "Strange? What a strange method." The explorer thought for a while and replied, "There is a road for 2 people to walk side by side up and down the mountain, but there is no snow on this road. And there are still footprints on the roadside." Abayao was shocked when he heard this, and then looked at Mordekaiser. "It's the Snow Clan, it must be the Snow Clan." Mordekaiser looked very excited at this time. "Looks like I'm not going the wrong way, hurry up, set off quickly, just follow that road." Abayao nodded after hearing this and shouted to everyone. "Everyone, get ready and get ready to climb the mountain. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 363. The team set off again and began to climb the snow-capped mountains. For professionals, snow-capped mountains of this height are nothing at all. Not to mention there is a safe road to travel on. So the team moved very quickly. Half an hour later, the team was already halfway up the mountain. As the altitude climbed, the temperature also dropped a lot. The cold wind seemed more severe. Apart from the vast expanse of white snow, there is basically nothing else to be seen around. "Ah!" A scream sounded from behind the crowd who were immersed in climbing the mountain. Everyone suddenly looked back. There are so many things that have happened today, and even the slightest movement can make everyone nervous. What happened? What happened again? No one saw anything at all, but the screams just now were real. There's a monster, and it's very fast." Someone pointed to the sky with a trembling voice. The man just now was caught in the sky in an instant. After hearing this, everyone looked up to the sky. A black spot got farther and farther away from them until it disappeared. After a while, a few drops of bright red blood floated down from the sky, and a few plum blossoms fell on the white snow beside the road. No one expected that they would encounter so many monsters on the second day, and each monster's methods were very strange. This person must be in serious danger if he is captured. Be careful with your head and keep on going. The team moved much slower. Every time they took a step, everyone had to look above their heads from time to time to prevent sudden attacks by monsters. I don't know what the reason was because there weren't many monsters, but when the team approached the top of the mountain, they didn't encounter another monster coming out to attack anyone. Just when everyone was thankful that only one person died in exchange for everyone's safety, dozens of screams piercing the air were heard in the sky. I saw dozens of black dots flying quickly towards the crowd from the horizon from far to near. Fuck, I thought it was gone, but it turns out it went back to call for help. They treat us like a buffet. Everyone realized that the first monster must have caught people too easily, making these things think that the humans in front of them were easy to bully. Now I called so many helpers to prepare for the feast. Everyone prepared to fight. Abiao frowned and looked at these monsters that were flying quickly. As they got closer, everyone could clearly see that these monsters were like eagles, with a pair of hook-like iron claws and a metallic beak. There are 2 pairs of wings flapping rapidly on its back. Each monster is at least 10 meters long with its wings spread out. This is absolutely huge for humans. And it seems that their IQ is not low. Seeing that humans are on guard, they do not swoop down to attack immediately, but hover and scream at high places. It seemed like they were discussing some tactics. After a while, all the strange birds dispersed and disappeared above everyone's heads. Huh? What happened? Did they get scared and run away? Everyone looked at the sky in confusion. Don't take it lightly, they can't retreat so easily. As the leader of the team, Abiao obviously has more considerations. With Suren by Mordekaiser's side, he doesn't have to consider the safety of his boss. All he has to do is ensure that the team can survive for a few more people. Sure enough, as soon as Abiao finished speaking, the strange birds that had just disappeared flew back again, and each one seemed to have grabbed a huge thing on its iron claws. Judging from the shape, it was much larger than their bodies. It's rocks, they caught a lot of rocks. They want to crush us. This group of strange birds grabbed so many boulders from nowhere. After flying over the crowd, dozens of rocks measuring tens of meters in size fell from the sky. Seeing the boulders roaring towards them, everyone wanted to escape, but found that the road was only for 2 people to walk side by side, with cliffs on both sides, and they had no room to move. Ah! Someone was squeezed off the cliff and disappeared before everyone's eyes in the blink of an eye. Stop squeezing, I'm going to fall. Abiao roared angrily when he saw this. Don't run around, defend where you are. If he didn't say anything to stop everyone from escaping, I don't know how many people would be pushed off the cliff. But it was still a little late, and a few more people were squeezed out. Without flying skills, even if you don't fall to death, you will be seriously injured if you fall. It is even less likely that anyone will save them. Therefore, there is no difference between falling and dying on the spot. Boom! The first boulder fell and hit the crowd. If this were an ordinary person, he would probably become a meat pie immediately if he was hit. Fortunately, professionals have equipment and defensive skills, so they can barely resist. But some people were injured. As the first boulder fell, dozens of boulders followed. Several more screams rang out from the crowd. But this is just the beginning. The real danger is not these boulders, but the strange birds waiting for opportunities in the sky. Almost as soon as the boulder fell, they launched an attack. Dozens of strange birds swooped towards the crowd at extremely fast speeds. The people who were still dealing with the boulder were caught off guard, and a dozen more people were arrested. Beast, seeking death. Zhou Changzhen was the first to take action, punching a strange bird from the air. The powerful force directly penetrated the body of this strange bird. The strange bird just flapped its wings a few times before falling to the bottom of the cliff. Several other 8 turns also took action one after another. However, after realizing something was wrong, the strange bird took advantage of its speed and quickly evaded it. They are fast, but their only attack method is their pair of iron claws. The strength seems to be limited, and it does not pose a threat to the 8th level professional. These strange birds are not stupid either. After returning to the air and circling for a circle, they bend over and fly down the cliff. A lot of people fell down there just now. This is much safer than catching people alive directly. After paying the price of 8 or 9 lives, these strange birds grabbed one person and left here. After Abiao counted the number of people, his expression was not very good. This time the damage was greater than the damage in the lake. A total of 47 people died. Most of them squeezed to the bottom of the cliff and fell to death. Some were captured and others were crushed to death by boulders. Not only were so many people dead, but more than a dozen people in the crowd were seriously injured. After Abio finished reporting to Mordekaiser just said lightly, "The wages of avarice is death. There's nothing to be sad about, just keep going and don't let these little things delay the process." Looking at his boss's indifferent look, Abio couldn't help but sigh softly in his heart. If one day I become an outcast and sacrifice myself for his purpose, I wonder if my boss will be sad for me even for a moment. At this time, the team was filled with gloom in everyone's heart. Seeing that there are fewer and fewer companions around them, many people actually regret coming to the snow field. However, they have no way out, and their only hope is that they will not die next time. I hope I am lucky enough to get out of the snow field alive. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 364. After the team tidied up, they continued on their way. Nothing else happened during the rest of the journey. If something else happened, many people would probably collapse on the spot. The atmosphere in the team was very solemn along the way, and everyone was thinking about their future. After climbing over the snowy mountaintop, a majestic city suddenly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. After descending the snow-capped mountains and entering the city, everyone's anxious hearts relaxed a little. This big city is bigger than the one yesterday. There are footprints of someone walking here. Someone shouted. Others followed the sound and saw several rows of clear footprints at the entrance of a frozen shopping mall. They entered the city from the south gate and found these rows of footprints at the central intersection of the city. The footprints go all the way north, and I don't know where they extend. The footprints were not covered by heavy snow, indicating that these people had been here not long ago. I heard from the big boss that this is a member of the Snow tribe who lives in the restricted area of the snow field. Didn't you say this is a restricted area of life? Why are there so many monsters and even humans surviving? It's a restricted area for us, and so many people have died. Speaking of this, everyone was silent for a while. Nearly 100 people died. This was only the second day, and the second day had not yet passed. Who knows if something strange will happen at night? Stop looking, go and camp near the temple first. Be careful and don't wander around. Abio drew everyone's attention back and began to move in the direction of the temple. A few minutes later, everyone had already set up camp near the temple, and it was still 2 hours before dark. The three brothers looked at each other and walked straight to the center of the city. Even if one brother is missing, they still don't forget to hunt for treasures. This has basically been engraved in their DNA and is almost functional. Seeing this, Higanbana left the camp and followed. Zhou Zhongzheng looked at a few people with disdain, set up his tent, got in and started to rest. Mordekaiser would have nothing to say about their actions. They'll be back before dark anyway. Suren waited until his tent was set up, then got in, and took a look at the pet space. Jingling has been staying quietly next to Hongmengziki. Looking at her fragmented body, several cracks have been repaired. Although she still looks like a piece of broken glass overall, she looks much rounder and smoother today. No wonder she keeps thinking about Hongmengziki. The other pet beasts were also practicing under the light of Hongmeng purple energy. It seems that Zika has almost reached level 800, and her whole person has become more charming and charming. Even though she was sitting there without any expression, she had an indescribable aura flowing around her. I don't know if it's because of Hongmen's purple energy or other reasons. Ah, Master, why are you secretly peeking at others while they are practicing? Shika suddenly opened her eyes and looked at the sky of the small world with a smile. From this perspective, the two of them were just looking at each other. Ahem, don't talk nonsense, I just want to see how the small world is developing. Suren quickly denied it. Shika stood up and turned around in a circle, showing off her perfect figure. Then she deliberately raised her chest and said in a low voice, "Master, do you think I look good?" "Okay, no, you should practice well on your own and don't act like a monster." Suren quickly retreated and stopped looking at the pet space. Seeing this, a smile appeared in Chika's eyes. "You also said I didn't peek, and I didn't peek to see if you feel guilty." But she didn't care. She was very happy knowing that Suren was peeking at her. This at least proves that he is still very attractive. However, when she thought of the increasing number of memory fragments in her mind, Shika's face suddenly darkened. She knew that sooner or later, Suren would leave this world and go to the heaven. If so, we will definitely pass through that star field on the way. At that time, maybe she can no longer follow Suren. In the tent, Suren shook his head. Faced with such temptation, who can resist it? Fortunately, he exited quickly, otherwise he would have fallen. It was getting dark, and as darkness approached, smoke rose from the camp. But the strange thing is that the three brothers and Bianhua who went to the city to hunt for treasure have not returned yet. Abayao glanced at the time and suddenly felt bad. 5 minutes left. Time passed minute by minute, and still the four people were nowhere to be seen. Until it gets completely dark. Abayao's face darkened, thinking something bad was wrong, and then quickly walked to Mordekaiser's tent. "What's wrong, Abayao?" Seeing his bad expression, Mordekaiser said doubtfully. "Boss, those three brothers and Bianhua didn't come back even after dark." Upon hearing this, Mordekaiser's expression also changed suddenly. "You sure?" "Boss, I'm sure. I searched all around the camp, but I didn't see them anywhere. The people on duty at the intersection also said they didn't see them coming back." Mordekaiser panicked, and the four level 8 professionals disappeared without a word. The temple was not far from the city center, so it was impossible for them to rush back without checking the time. The only possibility is that something unexpected happened. "Didn't you hear anything?" Mordekaiser asked again. Abayao shook his head. This was what he felt was strange. No matter how strong the opponent was, it would be impossible for so many level 8 professionals to be unable to even shout. There were a total of 7 8th level professionals in the team, and one died in the dragon's mouth. Now 4 more are missing in town. Now he is the only one left with the flat-headed man Zhou Changzheng. The tent fell into silence for a moment, and both of them understood that there was no difference between them and the dead before they returned to the protection of the temple at night. Even if their strength is as high as 8 turns, it is useless. Because there is only this temple nearby. Wait a minute, Suren seems to be able to come and go freely in the wild at night. Go and ask Suren to come over to discuss this matter. Mordekaiser suddenly thought of this matter, and he sent someone to check Suren's information. Although this information was once hidden by Longguo officials, he bought some at a high price. Abayao felt a little unbelievable after hearing this, but since his boss was so sure, he naturally would not doubt it. Abayao walked out of the tent, came to the tent where Suren was, and told the whole story. Suren also frowned after hearing this. It seems that this city is not peaceful. It can swallow 4 level 8 professionals silently. The monsters here are not simple. Suren came to Mordekaiser's tent with Abayao. "Senior Su, Abayao must have told you about the matter. Look, can you go to the city and check it out?" Mordekaiser was not worried about the lives of those people, he was afraid of the unknown creature that had killed several people. Only with Suren personally taking action could he feel at ease tonight. "Haha, Boss Caesar, I shouldn't have that obligation, right? Senior Su, don't refuse in a hurry. I can tell you the news about the ice crystal pendant right away. What do you think? The destination is so close that Mordekaiser is ready to risk his life. I changed my profession and became a concept god, Shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 365. Tell me the story. When Suren heard this, he nodded slightly in agreement. Abiao, go guard outside the tent and don't let anyone get close. Abiao nodded and walked out of the tent. Mordekaiser saw this and said slowly. In fact, I also learned about the ice crystal divine pendant through the sheepskin handbook. After Mordekaiser finished speaking, he took out the ancient sheepskin codex. It records where the snow people live and their living habits. The ice crystal pendant is a token worn by the leader of the snow clan. Whoever has the ice crystal pendant is the patriarch. You mean the ice crystal god fell on the leader of the snow clan? Then I can just go find him. Mordekaiser smiled when he heard this and said, although you are powerful, if you want to take other people's clan chief tokens, it would be strange if they don't fight for you. Desperately? They can't catch me. Suren is very confident about this. Even if they can catch up with me, it's useless. Do you really think they can beat me with all their strength? Mordekaiser shook his head and said. What if I say that their clan leader has disappeared? At least judging from the records in the sheepskin manuscript, their clan leader has been missing for hundreds of years. If you want to get the ice crystal pendant, you must find the leader of the snow clan, and I have to find him too. As for why Mordekaiser wanted the leader of the snow clan, he didn't say why. Suren felt a little strange when he heard this. What's the use of Mordekaiser finding someone who has been dead for hundreds of years? It has been missing for hundreds of years. If you are lucky, you can find a frozen corpse. If you are not lucky, there may not be any corpse left. But what Mordekaiser was looking for had nothing to do with Suren, and he didn't bother to ask. Mordekaiser continued. So, I said it from the beginning, you and I have the same purpose. You want the ice crystal pendant on him, and I want his people. I have already told you the news and asked Senior Su to help. Good. After speaking, Suren walked out of the tent. At this time, the campground was brightly lit, but everyone's faces were full of worry. 4 level 8 professionals disappeared in the city, which in itself was an extremely terrifying thing. Monsters that can make them disappear without saying a word can easily kill them. Almost everyone in the camp was talking about it now. Suren walked out of the tent without looking at anyone else, and walked straight towards the center of the city. The others immediately looked at him with wide eyes and unblinking eyes. Fuck, what is he doing? He's going out of the temple's protection. Doesn't he want to go out and die? The moment Suren stepped out of the protection area of the temple, everyone's hearts were in their throats. But nothing happened. No nightmares appeared, and no other monsters attacked Suren. Mordekaiser, supported by Abiao, was shocked when he saw this scene. It's one thing to hear about it, but it's another thing to see it with your own eyes. No. Nothing. How could he be okay? Everyone in the camp stood up and watched this scene. This somewhat impacts their cognition. If you go out at night outside the protection area of the temple, you will definitely die. This is common sense that humans in this world have to know from birth. Could it be that it's already safe outside? Someone whispered. However, no one dared to take even a step out. Once the attempt fails, it is death. No one would play with their own lives. Amid everyone's shocked and confused gazes, Suren followed the footsteps of several people and slowly walked towards the center of the city. It didn't snow in the afternoon, so the footprints on the snow were still clear. Not long after walking, 3 rows of footprints and another row of footprints left in 2 directions. Based on his observations over the past few days, Suren determined that the 3 of them did not have space skills. Several display cabinets were smashed open, and the equipment inside had been taken away. It seemed that it was also the work of the 3 brothers. This kind of person who has been a businessman all his life has every step carefully calculated, and it is basically impossible for him to leave any loopholes. This makes Suren somewhat unpredictable. A few minutes later, Suren followed the footprints and came to a large commercial building. Seeing that there was really no way to lure the other party out, Suren could only return to the camp first. Looking at the clothes on the shelves, there are a lot of them missing, probably taken away by Bianhua. Have you left already? Although Mordekaiser did not say that he could find the leader of the Snow Clan, Suren guessed that Mordekaiser must have a way to find him. Moreover, 3 level 8 professionals are already considered powerful in this world. So Suren couldn't let anything happen to Mordekaiser. The result of hibiscus flower was the same as that of the 3 brothers, disappearing into the mall out of thin air. What's a little strange is that they only broke open a few display cabinets, and there were obviously several pieces of equipment that looked pretty good next to them. After confirming that there were no further footprints around, Suren walked in along the hole in the wall. After thinking for a while, Suren chose to follow the direction where the 3 brothers were walking. Just don't know if the other person is a monster or a human. It's strange. There are no other footprints of living monsters around. How could these 3 people suddenly disappear out of thin air? Bricks discarded by the roadside still look new. Suren originally thought that Bianhua also came to the city to hunt for treasures, but she didn't expect that she actually walked into a shopping mall selling clothes and jewelry. Suren exited the trading house and looked around to make sure there were no other footprints. Then he returned to the intersection and followed Bianhua in the direction. Only through Mordekaiser can Suren get the ice crystal pendant, which is why Mordekaiser is not afraid of Suren leaving alone. In other words, the 3 brothers were attacked after smashing open several display cabinets to obtain equipment. Except for some human-shaped ice sculptures that have been frozen for who knows how many hundreds of years, there is nothing else. The second floor looked like a large exhibition hall. With the light source in his hand, Suren took a look at the layout of the entire hall. If the other party captures people in the camp while he is away, that will be troublesome. To disappear so easily shows that the opponent's strength far exceeds theirs. Since the first floor was covered with ice and snow, the 3 brothers probably chose to break a hole in the wall of the second floor and walked in. Both clues were broken. Suren stood there and waited for a while, trying to lure the other party out to attack him. There are many equipment display cabinets in the center of the hall, and the surrounding walls are also covered with various weapons and armors. According to their greedy character, it is impossible for them to let go of these equipment. Suren glanced at the scene, and there was no sign of any battle. But after waiting for a long time, there was no movement. This is a crossroads, and it seems to be the place where Bibawa and the 3 brothers walk separately. The bodies of the 3 brothers were not seen on the ground. Because he only has a few days left to live, he is not sure and will not come here to waste time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 366. When Suren returned to the camp, everyone looked at him in surprise, as if they had seen something magical. Ignoring these looks, Suren came to Mordekaiser's tent and briefly explained the situation to him. After hearing this, Mordekaiser said worriedly, "Senior Su, you must protect me tonight. Let me tell you another news. I have a way to find the leader of the Snow Clan. If I die, you won't be able to find him." The 4 8-turners were all taken away instantly. At this time, Mordekaiser no longer believed that his bodyguard Abiao could protect him. The only one he can trust now is Suren. After hearing this, Suren thought that it was indeed the case. These big businessmen will keep everything in reserve to prepare a way out for themselves. Don't worry, as long as I'm here, no one can touch you. After speaking, Suren turned and left. Under a snow cave deep in the snowfield. The three missing brothers and hibiscus flower were chained and hung on the cross. Although the four people were conscious, their bodies were weak and they could not use their skills. At this time, they are no different from ordinary people. So it's impossible to break free. Brother, where are we? The fourth child looked weakly at the dark caves around him. He remembered that they were excitedly smashing the display cases to get the equipment inside. As a result, a figure suddenly appeared in the hall, and before they could take action, they were already controlled by the opponent. I was tied here when I woke up. Who captured us? The more they thought about it, the more frightened they became. How could a few of them be considered to be rank 8 masters, yet they were so inexplicably caught with one move? The opponent's strength is a bit too terrifying. While several people were discussing, a group of people wearing snow-white plush coats and holding spears walked in. The leader glanced at the four people, sat down on a stone bench in front of the four people, sat down, looked at the four people and said, "What do outsiders do in our snow field?" The four of them looked at each other, looked at the person in front of them and asked tentatively, "Are you from the Snow tribe? Do you know our Snow clan?" "Know a little." In fact, they also learned from Mordekaiser that such a race lived here. Most of them don't know anything. The leader heard this and said coldly, "It seems that you are still well prepared. No wonder the Holy Dragon will die in your hands." Holy Dragon. Several people were a little confused. When did they kill the holy dragons of these snow tribesmen? Humph, you still don't admit it? We pulled out a corpse from the holy dragon's mouth, dressed in the same clothes as you. Hearing this, the three brothers immediately cried out in grief. Third brother. Now they knew who the holy dragon was. It was the dragon they met today. It looked like the dragon wouldn't survive either. I didn't expect that. He is still your brother. Very good. It seems that you have admitted it. In that case, tell me, who poisoned the holy lake? The water of the holy lake has always been the upstream water source for the Snow clan. After the lake water was polluted, many low-strength people in the Snow tribe became sick and bedridden after drinking the lake water. If the Great Elder's strength had not temporarily suppressed the poison in their bodies, these tribesmen would have died long ago. But these poisons are not their common types, and even the Great Elder cannot completely eliminate them. So the Great Elder followed him all the way, and then arrested a few outsiders for interrogation. As for the others, the Great Elder saw that there were many people on the other side and was not in a hurry to take action. Hearing the word poison, the three brothers were speechless for a moment. The poisoner was none other than Lao San, who died in the dragon's mouth. I know who poisoned you. At this time, Bianhua raised her head and said. When the three brothers heard this, they immediately became anxious. The other party obviously wanted to find the culprit and punish him. If Bianhua said that it was their third brother who did it, then the three of them would not be able to escape the involvement. Bianhua, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't talk nonsense. You must not talk nonsense. Shut up, did I let you speak? The Snow tribesmen looked at Bianhua and said coldly. Little did they know that Bianhua had been worried in her heart for the past 2 days, worried that Suren would take revenge on her after knowing her identity. The Suren you are talking about is only 18 years old? Then why can he kill the holy dragon? Everything we say is true. Even though he is young, he is extremely powerful. If you don't believe it, send someone to test him and you will know whether what we are saying is true. Now hearing Bianhua's answer, they will naturally not say that what she said is false. Give them something to eat, and I'll report it to the Great Elder. The three brothers were already at odds with Suren. If they were not afraid of Suren's strength, they would have fallen out with Suren long ago. However, they still insist on this statement even though they know that lying will cost their lives, which shows that it is really possible. This can be described as killing 2 birds with 1 stone. When something that sounds outrageous is proven to be true, the Snow Tribe people will no longer doubt who they were talking about poisoning. She sent dozens of people to capture Suren and collect the reward, which was a big revenge. Haha, do you think I'm an idiot? After hearing this, the Snow Tribesmen suddenly laughed and said. They never expected that Bianhua would throw the blame on Suren. If you tell the truth, we can spare your life. If you dare to talk nonsense, I will kill you now. Is what she said true? Logically speaking, the explanations given by these people are all fake. Don't worry, everything I say is true. Thank you all for your power for love, thank you very much. He was the one who administered the poison, and he was the one who killed your holy dragon. After saying this, the Snow Tribesman turned around and left the cave. Why is he stronger than you? In her opinion, there are definitely powerful masters in the Snow clan, otherwise it would not be possible to capture the four of them so easily. At this moment, the four of them all hoped that Suren's strength would pass the test of the Snow Tribe people. The leader of the Snow clan looked at the three brothers. The person who poisoned us is still in the team we came with at this time. He is an 18-year-old boy named Suren. Although he looks young, he is cunning and does all kinds of evil. The three brothers turned to look at her nervously, despairing in their hearts. If the Snow clan can take action against Suren, then she can solve the serious problem in her heart. When the four of them heard this, they knew it was safe. What's more, it was his brother who did it, so he couldn't tell the truth. A smile of unknown meaning appeared in Bianhua's eyes. Seeing that the four people still did not change their words, the Snow Tribesmen also hesitated. Once this was revealed, they were afraid they would die here. As soon as these words came out, there was an obvious silence in the cave. The most shocked person was the three brothers. That's right, sir, all of this was done by the man named Suren. He is so powerful that we don't dare to go against his decision. They have no friendship with Bianhua, and it is impossible for the other party to speak for them. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 367. After the Snow Clan interrogating several people left the cave, they came to the largest ice castle outside. There are already more than 30 Snow Tribesmen lying on the ground here, and everyone is wailing in pain. Without exception, these Snow Tribe people are all young people. A tall white-haired old man was currently casting spells to suppress the poison in their bodies. Great Elder, how are the clansmen? The Great Elder heard the sound and looked over and said softly. It will take another day for their poison to be discharged, and they will definitely have to suffer this crime, but... Speaking of this, the Great Elder sighed. Alas, it's just that a few children's training time was too short and they couldn't survive. Hearing this, the Snow Tribesman who was interrogating several people instantly became furious. What? I'm going to kill them, and I'm going to make these outsiders pay the price. Ivana, come back. The Great Elder stopped him sternly. We, the Snow Clan, have always made a distinction between public and private affairs. We will never wrongly accuse a good person, nor let a bad person go. Don't do anything until the matter is investigated clearly. Great Elder, it was the poison they administered that caused what happened today. Isn't it right for me to kill them? Awana's eyes were red and his face was angry. The Great Elder looked at him and shook his head. I didn't say you were wrong. Calm down first and tell me what happened to the matter I asked you to interrogate. Awana reluctantly replied. They have already recruited him. It was their people who did it. They also killed the holy dragon. The person who did this is called Suren. They lied. Just hearing these two sentences, the Great Elder denied the results of the interrogation brought by Awana. I have inspected the body of the holy dragon. There are scars all over the body. And judging from the wounds, they were not caused by the same person. At least they were caused by more than 5 people attacking the holy dragon together. Those people blamed the death of Shenlong on the Suren you mentioned, which means they lied. I think they are quite powerful. They must have a share in besieging the holy dragon. After hearing this, Awana thought for a moment and said, "What does the Great Elder mean? The poison was not caused by Suren? Are they framing it?" The Great Elder shook his head again. "No, don't jump to conclusions before things are clear. Tomorrow you will come with me and lead people to arrest all the remaining people. It will be clear who the culprit is. In short, we, the Snow Clan, will not give up until this matter is investigated clearly. Yes, Great Elder, I, Avanna, will never let them escape." Suren and his party were in the camp. Suren let Nightmare go out to inspect the surroundings. It was impossible for him to keep vigil at night. However, necessary safety precautions must still be taken. As the night passed, the camp was very quiet and nothing happened. At dawn the next day, Mordecaiser couldn't wait for everyone to pack up and prepare to set off. He was only half a day away from his destination, and he was feeling 3-part excitement, 3-part fear, and 3-part desire. Whether we can find a way to extend our life depends on today. The sun had just risen and the team had already set off. The atmosphere in the team today is even more solemn, and it can be said that it has reached the point where everyone is in danger. Every time you set off, it means someone will die. Rather than rushing, it is more like urging someone to die. The disappearance of 4 rank 8 professionals last night also cast a layer of gloom on everyone's mind. On the Snow Tribe side, Avanna left the house early in the morning. He didn't listen to the Great Elder's instructions. He only knew the principle of paying with blood. If his tribe is dead, then he also wants those outsiders to die, preferably all of them. So he went to the territory of the Snowfield Ice Wolf early in the morning and made a deal with their Wolf King. The two sides were originally hostile, but after the Wolf King knew that there were outsiders, and there were a lot of them, he immediately agreed to Avanna's conditions. Human meat is extremely tempting to the Snowfield Ice Wolf. But they are no match for the Great Elder of the Snow Clan, so they rarely eat the meat of the Snow Clan. They are more often hunted by the Snow Clan. This time I heard that there were hundreds of outsiders going deep into the snowfield, and they decided to give it a try no matter what. After the team marched for half a day, it started to snow again. It seems like it snows every day in this place, and it lasts for half a day. Along with the snowflakes came the cold wind. On the way, Jojong came over and walked side by side with Suren. "Senior Su, are those dogs dead or missing?" "I don't know. I didn't see their bodies, and I didn't see any signs of fighting at the scene." That night, Zhou Zheng found Suren and told him his identity and the identities of those people. Only then did Suren know that Zhou was the leader of the international peacekeeping team. The purpose of concealing their identity this time was to capture the 4 brothers and Bianhua. But Suren could tell that he seemed to want to kill these people more. Seeing that Suren didn't believe what he said, he admitted it on the spot. Those 4 brothers killed his family, Yugong. He wanted to arrest them and then have the organization try and convict them. Privately, he wanted to kill them immediately to avenge the bloodshed for his family. So he was hesitant and confused about which choice to make. The sudden disappearance of several people last night disrupted his thoughts. He hoped that several people were missing rather than dead. Even if he died, he would kill them himself. That's why Zhou Changzheng came to Suren to ask about news about several people. While the two were talking, the team had already entered a valley. There are tall rocks on both sides of the valley, and there is much less wind and snow here. The snow in the valley is also obviously much shallower than outside. Almost there, finally almost there. It's just a short walk through this valley and we'll be there. Mordekaiser was holding the map, his face was unusually flushed, and he was still mumbling. Ouch! Ouch! Countless wolf howls sounded above the valley. After echoing in the valley, these wolf howls became even louder. Everyone looked up and saw countless snow-white giant wolves several meters high standing on the rocks above the valley, half of their bodies exposed and looking at everyone. These snowfield ice wolves, with bursts of scarlet color in their eyes, looked at the people in the valley as if they were looking at delicious delicacies. Everyone could even see saliva dripping from the corners of the mouths of several wolves at this time. They want to eat us. Everyone looked at the densely packed wolves above the valley, and their legs and feet felt weak for a moment. Every wolf here is about the same strength as them. If these giant wolves rushed down together, they might not be able to survive. Just when everyone was in despair, something even more desperate happened. A wolf king covered with silver mane and more than 10 meters tall, accompanied by dozens of ice wolves, slowly appeared in the valley in front of the team, blocking everyone's way. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 368. Ouch! The Wolf King raised his head and roared. The other ice wolves also howled again. The snow above the valley was shaken off a lot by this shock. The Wolf King glanced at the crowd at this time, focusing on Suren in the center of the crowd, and then roared again. Many snowfield ice wolves heard this roar and immediately began to attack. However, their attack method was different from that of ordinary wolves, and they did not charge down. Instead, he stood above the valley and began to spit out ice blades towards the valley. Fuck, there are still wolves that can attack from a distance. Everyone cursed angrily and had to pick up their armor to resist. In this place, they have no place to go except to defend in place. The Wolf King has blocked the way in front, and there are also wolves blocking the way behind. The key is that these wolves are very smart and will not jump up to fight you head on. Instead, they will use this condescending advantage to consume everyone. They are waiting for everyone to be exhausted. After the first wave of wolves finished spitting out their ice blades, they retreated to the back to rest and replenish their energy. The second wave of wolves came forward and continued to deal damage to everyone. Looking at these well-coordinated and intelligent wolves, everyone was really desperate. Don't be afraid of the monster being powerful, but be afraid of the monster's terrible intelligence. Senior Su, the boss is in your hands. No matter what happens, I hope you can save his life. Abayao bowed to Suren. Abayao, what are you doing? Mordekaiser frowned. Boss, we can't leave here unless we kill the Wolf King. I'm going to kill him. After Abayao finished speaking, he turned towards the Wolf King and killed him. Seeing this, Zhou Zhangzheng also said loudly. I'm here to help you. The two of them attacked the Wolf King one after the other. When the Wolf King saw this, a trace of contempt flashed in his eyes. In the entire snow field, few people dared to rush in front of it. Even if the Snow Clan's great elder wanted to kill it, it wouldn't be that easy. Not to mention these weak humans. Roar! The Ice Wolf King roared violently, and hundreds of ice blades flew towards Abayao and Zhou Zhangzheng who were rushing over. The two wanted to defend themselves, but found that they couldn't stop them at all. The ice blades issued by the Ice Wolf King are completely different from those of ordinary wolves. Poof! Poof! The two of them flew back, and their chests were pierced by the ice blade. With just one blow, the two lost the ability to fight again. Young ones, catch them alive, they won't taste good if they die for too long. The Wolf King spoke human words, his tone full of arrogance. If it weren't for this reason, Abayao and Zhou Zhang would have died here in one blow. The gap between the two sides is too big. Perhaps after hearing the Wolf King's order, the ice blade slowly stopped at this time. This group of snowfield ice wolves also discovered that these people were much weaker than the Snow Tribe people. It can't stand their torment at all. They prefer to capture such weak prey alive and raise it to eat slowly. Above the valley, the howls sounded again. This is the carnival moment when the wolves are about to catch their prey. It's over. I never thought that one day I would become a monster's food. If I had known, I shouldn't have come here because I was greedy for money. Everyone can already imagine the scene of being captured by wolves and being slowly raised to die. That would be even scarier than killing them directly. Senior Sue, how? Mordekaiser was trembling all over. He turned his head and looked at Suren standing next to him, wanting to ask him what to do. As a result, he didn't see Suren. When he thought Suren had run away, he found Suren's voice coming from the front of the valley. Puppy, I'll give you a minute to keep you wolf cubs away from the crowd. Otherwise, I can't guarantee whether my knife will split your head open. Mordekaiser followed the sound and saw Suren squatting on top of the Wolf King at some point, holding a knife to the Wolf King's forehead. When everyone saw this scene, their jaws almost dropped in shock. Seeing this scene, the wolves stopped howling and became quiet. Suren didn't want to interfere with these people's affairs. If they dared to come here for money, they had to be prepared to die at any time. Everything has nothing to do with others. But, after all, Suren couldn't just watch so many people die here and become food for the ice wolves. You wanna die? The Ice Wolf King roared angrily and prepared to stand up and resist. Even if this human stepped on its head, he still dared to call it a puppy. This is the greatest insult to it. Just when the Ice Wolf King was about to take action, he found that his body suddenly stiffened and his limbs were completely frozen to the ground. At this time, the Ice Wolf King's heart was already filled with huge waves. It cannot see clearly the strength of this human being. It didn't notice when the opponent appeared above its head, and it couldn't break away from the power that controlled it. Facing this human being, he felt like facing the great elder of the Snow Clan again. Moreover, this human seems to be stronger. At least it can still run under the hands of the great elder of the Snow Clan. But facing this human being, all its escape powers failed. What? Didn't you hear what I said clearly? Suren plucked its big furry ears with his left hand, thinking that it would taste good if marinated in cold dishes. Don't do anything. You have something to say. The Ice Wolf King is also a master who can bend and stretch. If it cannot be beaten, it will surrender. This is also the reason why it has reached its current status. The other more unruly wolf kings had long been killed by the Snow Clan's elder, and it was the only one that had survived for so long. Just because it was more sensible, it was spared its life. Otherwise, if the Snow Clan's great elder really wants to kill it, its escape powers will be useless. Get your wolves out of here. Yes, I will let them go immediately. The Ice Wolf King roared, and after hesitating for a moment, the wolves all quickly evacuated from here. My lord, are you satisfied? Also, I'm tired of walking. You stay and be my mount. I'll let you go when I leave the snowfield. What? As your mount? The Ice Wolf King was extremely angry. How could it have the dignity to continue to rule the wolves like this? Human, don't bully the wolf too. Huh? What's too much? Suren asked, tapping its forehead with the back of the knife. The Ice Wolf King, who was originally extremely angry, suddenly stopped and said softly. Don't ride the wolf for too long. I also want to have dignity. After speaking, the Ice Wolf King lowered his head and moved a little further away from Suren's blade. Suren sat directly on its head and said, Don't talk nonsense. Since you are an aboriginal here, you must be very familiar with this place. Next, you will lead the way. I wonder where you are going, sir. There is no place here that I cannot find. The Ice Wolf King said with some pride. That's good. It will save us the trouble of not being familiar with the road. You can take us to the place where the snow people live. This is also where Mordekaiser originally planned to go. He said that this is where he can find the leader of the Snow Clan who has disappeared for hundreds of years. Although Suren didn't know why Caesar was so sure. But his goal is also his own goal, so the only place he wants to go is here. However, after hearing Suren's words, the Ice Wolf King was instantly furious. What did you say? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 369. When the Ice Wolf King heard this, his legs became weak. Going to the place where the Snow Clan lives would cost their lives. Within 10 miles of the Snow Clan's territory, all monsters are not allowed to approach. Once they approach, they will be hunted to death by the Snow Clan's people. The Snow Clan is the well-deserved absolute overlord in this area, and no one dares to provoke them. Although it is not afraid of other Snow Clan people, it can't defeat the Snow Clan's great elder. It's good if the other party doesn't look for it. If it dares to go to the Snow Clan's territory, it's forcing others to take action. So the Ice Wolf King shook his head firmly. Sir, no, brother, please spare me. I'm going to the place where the Snow Clan lives. They will skin me. Suren couldn't help laughing when he heard this. Then you are not afraid that I will peel off your skin now? Stop talking nonsense and lead the way. I'll protect you from death. Well. The Ice Wolf King sighed and could only bite the bullet and lead the way. Today is truly the worst time of my life. I have been cautious all my life, but I didn't expect that I would stumble here. It's all that Awana's fault. Are these outsiders all weaklings? That bastard is just lying to me. The Ice Wolf King became angrier as he thought about it, so he simply told Suren about the deal between Awana and him. Suren was a little confused after hearing this. Is there any conflict between the Snow Tribe and my group? Why did they let the Ice Wolves attack and kill themselves and others? And he also has to test his own strength. Awana didn't tell the Ice Wolf King that much, and the Ice Wolf King didn't know either. In the Snow Clan's territory, the Snow Clan's great elder has summoned hundreds of clan members to prepare for departure. A Snow tribesman came over and reported. Great elder, the Falcon sent news that the outsiders and the Ice Wolves were fighting in the Calabash Valley. Huh? What's going on? How come the Ice Wolves are there? Awana, who was standing behind the great elder, lowered his head when he heard this. Avana, do you know what's going on? The great elder looked at Avana with his head lowered with his eyes that seemed to see through everything. Great elder, I don't know. Awana shook his head. Avana, have you also learned to lie? The great elder stared at him, obviously a little angry, and his tone was much heavier. Countless eyes were focused on Awana, which made him feel even more stressed. Finally, he couldn't bear it anymore and admitted that he had asked the Ice Wolf King to lead the wolves there. You, Sci. The great elder shook his head slightly, feeling extremely disappointed. Avana was his chosen successor. What he valued was Avana's bravery, tenacity, and his heart that dared to sacrifice for the Snow Clan. But Avana's shortcoming is that he is too impulsive, which is what the great elder has always wanted to correct him for. Now that the truth of the matter has not been found out, Awana asked the Ice Wolves to hunt the outsiders. He knew the outcome without even thinking about it. The Ice Wolves were so powerful, and with the Ice Wolf King sitting there were very few races in the snowfield that could rival them. Moreover, he has checked those outsiders, and most of them are not as strong as the few people he captured. Therefore, I am afraid that none of these outsiders will survive. Avana, starting from today, you will face the ice wall for a month. You are not allowed to come out without my order. Great Elder, forget it. Awana also wants to avenge a few children. Please forgive him this time. Yes, Great Elder, please forgive him this time. The Snow tribesmen all started to plead for Awana. The Great Elder looked at everyone, shook his head and said, I said that our Snow tribe has always kept a clear distinction between public and private matters. Today, Awana acted without authorization, without investigating the truth, which resulted in the death of more than 100 outsiders. If they are not poisoners, Awana is killing innocent people in vain. They also have families. How painful should their families be when they know this news? We want revenge, but not like this. After the great elder finished speaking, everyone lowered their heads and remained silent. Great elder, Awana realizes his mistake. I will go to the ice wall now. Just as Awana was about to turn around and leave, the snow tribesman who had just reported the news came again. Great elder, the ice wolves have retreated. The Ice Wolf King was defeated by a young man and was used as a mount. Judging from their direction, they are heading towards our territory. What? How can this be? Aaron, are you right? The Snow Clan people looked unbelieving. Except for their snow tribe, the ice wolves are almost invincible in the snow field. Everyone hurried on in silence, and from time to time someone would raise their head and look at the young man sitting on the head of the Wolf King in front of him. In the vast snow, a silver-white Wolf King, more than 10 meters tall, led the way with its head held high, followed by about 100 people behind it. Tribesmen, come with me to meet these outsiders. It was a look that was more intimate than looking at a relative. Humph, call me little dog again. I am a noble ice wolf. Can I be compared to those dogs? There were no other monsters around, and it seemed very quiet along the way. After Awana left, the great elder looked at the clansmen. Go ahead, I know what to do. At this time, Awana suddenly said loudly, what those outsiders who were captured are telling the truth. How could the Ice Wolf King be defeated by a boy? Awana looked at the great elder. He had told the great elder about this matter. After leaving the valley, the wind and snow subsided, and the road ahead became clearer. It must be the boy named Suren they were talking about. Suren stretched lazily. I know, luckily you didn't make a big mistake. If these humans dare to kill the Wolf King, they will definitely rush forward and fight these humans without fear of death. Great Elder. I don't know if it's because of the wolves or because it's relatively close to the Snow Tribe's territory. Little dog, how far is it? If it weren't for this boy, they would all have become food for the wolves. But I, the king, have a lot of them, so I won't care about a little guy like you. At this moment, Suren's status in their hearts was no different than that of a god. I can't possibly make a mistake. My falcon has been following me for so many years. When have you ever seen me make a mistake? Everyone in the Snow Clan was a little confused for a moment and looked at the great elder. Aaron said firmly. Awana thought he could be exempted from punishment, but he didn't expect that he would still be punished. Sir, we will be here soon. We have reached the outskirts of the Snow Tribe's territory. Yes, Awana will go now and ask the great elder to find out the truth and avenge the dead children. But you still have to go to the ice wall for me. You are not allowed to come out without my permission. The wolves would not be relieved if their king was caught, but if the Wolf King gave orders, they could only follow him from afar. The Ice Wolf King complained in his heart, but his words seemed extremely honest. Further away from the team, a group of snow-white wolves could be vaguely seen following the team in the distance. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 370. In front of the team, the terrain became steeper, and a small, seemingly large but flat plateau appeared in front of everyone. It felt like a big mountain had been cut in half. Let's go to the Snow Ridge, the territory of the Snow Clan people. The Ice Wolf King stopped and looked at the small plateau in front of him, not daring to take another step forward. Further ahead is the area defined by the Snow Tribe people. Stop whoever comes. Just as the team was observing the Snow Ridge, a loud shout came from above. Then hundreds of Snow Tribesmen appeared above, all holding spears in their hands and staring at Suren and his party with vigilance. It's the Ice Wolf King. It was really captured by outsiders and used as a mount. I don't know what kind of strength the young man above the Ice Wolf King has, but he can actually tame the Ice Wolf King. The Snow Tribe people looked at the Ice Wolf King below and let out bursts of whispers. Outsiders, why do you come to our Snow clan? At this time, Mordekaiser walked out of his sedan chair, looked up at the Snow Tribe people and said, I came to your clan leader to find the way to prolong life. Looking for our clan leader. Outsiders, are you talking nonsense? Our clan leader has been dead for hundreds of years, and we have never even seen him. Hey, of course I have my own ideas. Mordekaiser smiled mysteriously, and just as he was about to say something, he saw an old man with white beard and hair walking out from the Snow Tribe. Great Elder. All the Snow Tribesmen saluted one after another. After the Snow Clan's Great Elder appeared, he first glanced at the Ice Wolf King and Suren sitting on its head. Then he asked loudly. Outsiders, I don't care what you do in the snow field, but I want to know one thing. Who put the poison in the holy lake? Several children of my tribe have died after drinking the poisonous water. Poison. Everyone started talking when they heard this. The other party seemed to be talking about those strange fish. Suren glanced at the opponent's momentum and knew that this person must be the elder of the Snow Clan, and those few people must have been captured by him. Suren thought for a while and replied. The person who poisoned him is already dead. Dead? Who killed him? The dragon in the lake. After hearing this, the Snow Clan's great elder pondered for a moment. He didn't expect that the person who died in the mouth of Shenlong was the one who poisoned him. It's no wonder that Shenlong would try his best to kill him. Depending on the situation, what this young man said is probably true. However, he continued to ask, how to prove it? Suren shrugged, spread his hands and said. So many people have seen it with their own eyes. If you don't believe it, just ask them. After Suren finished speaking, he asked. Did you capture those of us? Yes, I didn't kill them, I just imprisoned them in the cave. Hearing this, a group of people behind Suren burst into an uproar. Unexpectedly, the 4 missing level 8 professionals were captured by the old man in front of them. They suddenly became worried. Several clan members had died, and they must have wanted revenge. If there was a conflict between the two sides, they didn't know if Suren could beat the old man. Senior, the poisoner, and the 3 men you captured are brothers. If you want revenge, you can go to them. They have nothing to do with us. Mordekaiser blamed everything on the 3 brothers, not mentioning that they were hired by him. Although what he was about to do was worse than poisoning, as a businessman, he still liked to keep everything clear. It's not his responsibility, he won't take it. Hearing this, the Snow Clan's great elder frowned and didn't know what he was thinking. After a while, he spoke. Now that the matter has been investigated clearly, please leave here. This tribe does not welcome outsiders. I will punish the other few and let them go. After the Snow Clan's great elder finished speaking, Mordekaiser didn't move, and neither did Suren. The people hired by Mordekaiser didn't move when they saw their boss, so naturally they wouldn't move either. Huh? What do you mean? I told you that outsiders are not welcome in this clan. If you dare to break into the Snowy Ridge, don't blame me for taking action. The Snow Clan's great elder threatened everyone in a cold voice. Mordekaiser still didn't move, just smiled lightly and said. Senior, I told you that I would come to find your clan leader. I will not leave until I find him. I told you, the clan leader has been missing for hundreds of years and his life and death are unknown. Now he is no longer in the clan. Mordekaiser shook his head. I can get him out. After Mordekaiser finished speaking, he looked at an ordinary-looking short man in the crowd behind him. Senior, it's your turn to take action. Ha ha ha. This man laughed loudly and had a good figure. The human skin mask on his face cracked, revealing an old face. After slowly walking out of the crowd, the man looked at the Snow Clan's great elder. Let Chi Tianhao come out to see me, otherwise, you will all die. After the man finished speaking, he jumped into the air, and his aura spread out. Suddenly, the pressure was so strong that it was difficult for everyone to breathe. Everyone looked at this person in horror. Even the great elder of the Snow Clan frowned when he saw this man. Huh! In Suren's pet space. Jingling suddenly let out a light sigh. What's wrong? Suren said strangely. Jingling turned into a shadow and looked at the man flying into the sky, and said softly. This person is actually from the previous level. The previous realm. Yes, if you call them in this world, they are level 10 professionals. Suren raised his head and looked at this man. I never imagined that someone in this world could break through 10 revolutions. But it seems that his cultivation method is different from others. He probably didn't transfer through the job transfer temple. At this time, the man spoke again, but this time he was not looking at the Snow Tribe people, but at the surrounding world. Ha ha ha, Chi Tianhao, if you don't come out, your people will be exterminated. Be bold. You are not allowed to call the clan leader by his name. The great elder of the Snow Clan roared angrily and slapped the man with his palm. Its speed is so fast that ordinary people can't see it clearly. And this palm was accompanied by a violent blizzard. Everyone watching the battle was blown around by the strong wind, and the Ice Wolf King quickly took Suren and ran away. This was the first time it saw the Snow Clan's great elder take action in anger. This is much stronger than when dealing with it. Ha ha ha, you ignorant junior, how dare you take action against me? I saw this person pointing out gently. A stream of light shot out from his fingertips. Puff. The blizzard that filled the sky was pierced by the stream of light and exploded. The figure of the Snow Clan's great elder also flew back upside down. Great elder. The Snow tribesmen hurriedly caught him. The great elder of the Snow Clan spat out a mouthful of blood, unable to hide the look of shock in his eyes. This man defeated him with just one move. What kind of strength does this have? Ha ha ha, you are too weak. You are not worthy of being my opponent. The man laughed loudly and arrogantly again. Suren glanced at Mordekaiser with some curiosity. This guy was hiding deep enough. The few 8th level professionals he invited were just a cover-up. The real trump card was this person. I just don't know how he invited such a strong person. Chi Tianhao, if you really don't come out, I know you're not dead. If you don't come out, I will kill all your people now. After the man finished speaking, he was about to take action, when he heard a sigh coming from the void. Brother, why is this necessary?